Hey guys, welcome back to Raise Create Cards. I hope everyone's having a good week. We have more rain today here in East Tennessee, but that's okay. We had a hot, dry summer, and so we're getting caught up on that, and that is great. Prayers going out. California, places in Canada where the flooding has been horrific. And my heart goes out to you. My prayers go out to you that you are safe and that pretty soon these trials will be over. All right, for today's card. Now, this is going to be a little bit involved making this trifold shutter card. It is. But as I got into it, I had never made one before. And I thought, I've never done one of those. I want to do one. And so I had a little bit of a learning curve too in doing this card, and I am praying that this comes out well. My apologies, first of all, for not having a video for you last Friday. We have a ministry fair that was coming up at church for Sunday and also this next Sunday. And it was a little bit more involved getting ready for that than I initially thought it was going to be, to get my display and everything put together. And that was literally the straw that broke the camel's back, okay? I just couldn't fit everything in that I needed to get done. But my apologies. I am so sorry. Should have had my act together. Should have had it done anyway, but... All right, that's water under the bridge, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. Now, last week, I think it was last Thursday, I got some more goodies out of the new mini catalog, and this one was the one I could not wait to get into and play with. Some of you, hopefully, already have this set, but if you don't, there's a couple of sentiment stamps missing because I've already got them pre-mounted for our card today, okay? And there's a couple of dies missing out of here because there are two items that we are going to die cut on video, okay? And there's a reason for that, and I'll explain as we get there. But I want you to look at all the dies. Not only do you get the dies to cut out everything you see here on the front, the little puddle, the little umbrella, the flowers, the clouds, and what it does, you stamp it. It stamps all three clouds, but it cuts them out individually. Can you see that? You've got a kite. You've got the little bows for the kite. You've got a top piece that will go on the kite to give it, more color, more something. You even have a little fence. You've got some butterflies. You have grass. There's two things of grass, a tree stump. It's just an adorable, adorable set. And I can see using all of this with other sentiments from other stamp sets, okay? But we are actually using these sentiments today. All right, and just a heads up, in the back of your celebration catalog, if you have not noticed, Stampin' Up! Has come out with one of the best signing up offers I have ever seen. You actually have three options, okay? So for $129, you can choose to get the brand new Boho Blue Mini Die Cut and Emboss machine. And $175 worth of product. That's awesome. That's amazing. Option 2 is basically the same deal, but you can order it in the white, which is the original and the one that is in the annual catalog, okay? Option 3, if you don't want the mini machine, don't want to have anything to do with the mini machine, for $99, you still get $175 worth of products. That is awesome. You don't have to make it a business. You don't have to do videos. You don't have to try to sell anything anywhere. You can just enjoy your discount on all of your products, okay? But anyway, if you have any questions, if you it's something that I didn't cover just now in that brief little intro, give me a shout out. You can email me at raisecreatecards@gmail.com, okay? Or you can also head over to raisecreatecards.stampinup.net, and all the details are there as well. All right. Let's get ready to do this card. I have done a couple of them. The very first one I tried was this one. Isn't that cute? Look at that. Look how it folds up. Yes, they will fit in a regular A2 envelope. Isn't that adorable? And I did use the newest Friendly Gnomes, also out of the mini catalog. I didn't use a whole lot of it, obviously, and I am going to revisit that, and we're going to do some cute cards with it as well. But I thought that was so cute. And I thought the Blackberry Bliss was a nice color to go with the old olive and the mossy meadow that was in that DSP. So that was one that I did. And then someone in the card ministry at church is having a birthday. And so I put this one together for her. And I used Mango Melody. And even though that is not really Mango Melody, I thought it all kind of went really well together. It's not two colors I would have put together, but it just happened that way. So there is that one, and she'll be getting that at church Sunday. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, so on this card, I used that True Beauty that is in the annual catalog, and I'm really praying it carries over. Y'all have heard me say that before, so yeah, we're going to put that to the side. And then, like I said, I couldn't wait to get out and use the Playing in the Rain, and I did order the whole suite. So I got the stamp set and the dies and the coordinating DSP and all the stuff that is in there, okay, the ribbon and everything. And so I came up with this one. It's good. I like it. However, I was finding it a little hard. The background is just a wee bit busy, just a little bit. And so I thought, well, let's do something just a little bit different. And I don't know if you can tell, I know you're picking up a little bit of a shimmer that is in that DSP. And the best way I can describe it is it's kind of like a wet look. It's not metallic. There's not any foil accents or anything. It's just a wet look. And I don't know that I have ever seen any DSP from Stampin' Up! that had that feature. And so I'm really enjoying that. I love it. But for today's card, we are going to have a white card base with a balmy blue layer. And I love this. This is also in that DSP for Playing in the Rain. What is that called? Let me get my pack out here. It is called Rain or Shine. It's 12 by 12. And the patterns that are in there, I'm sure you've already seen them from other demonstrators. And there's another pattern in here that is not as stormy looking, I guess, if you want to say that. It's really pretty. Let me see if I can find it real quick and give you a sneak peek. There are clouds in here. There's just all kinds of stuff in here. Is this it? This is it. So then you also have this one. And again, it's got that wet look to it. It's really pretty. But one of my favorite pieces was this one. I really like that. All right, we're going to start out. First of all, I'm going to move this paper. I don't want anything sliding around underneath. I didn't have my grid paper ready, guys. Sorry about that. Now, the Stampin' Up! Trimmer is going to be one of the show pieces in today's video. Because it has a cutting blade and a scoring blade, I'm relying very heavily on this. And guys, we've all known about this tip and trick for a long time, and it wasn't until about a week, maybe a little over a week ago, I finally went ahead And when you are doing some cutting and some scoring, we also have a ruler that is right here on this guide. However, it's clear, and depending on what medium you have under it, it can be really hard to see where to cut. Well, let me tell you, Stampin' Up's tearing tape is the perfect width to put under here so that you can now see everything, all of your markings very clearly. And it's no longer a struggle, and it just fits right in that track. See if I can give you a bird's eye view there. Perfect width, perfect everything, and you just leave the backing on there. Time will tell if that backing stays secure, but I've not had any issues with it wanting to come up or off. So that was my remedy. You can cut cardstock and glue it in there if you want to, but I thought the tearing tape, and this is some tearing tape that came out of a paper pumpkin kit, and I save all those and use out of my regular tearing tape. And then if I need extra tearing tape rolls for a card class, because I'm still doing 2 in-person card classes a month as well, okay? All right, guys. And I will do my best to have as much of this in the camera as I can get, but you're not always going to be able to see when I get down to the lower part. All right, to start out with, your card base, whatever colors you pick, it's going to be 5.5 by 10.5, okay? And your next layer is just going to go down 1/4 of an inch. So your cardstock layer is going to be 5.25 by 10.25, and your DSP is going to be 5 by 10. And be mindful when you cut it. I have a pattern on this because I've got my raindrops in a vertical. And so when I cut it, I had to cut it 5 inches this way, 10 inches this way, okay? Just be mindful of that depending on what you're using. All right, so we're going to start with our card base, and with the 5.5 inch across the top, I'm going to line it up at 1.25 inches. So we'll line it up at 1.25, and then I'm going to cut it from 1 3/4 to 8 3/4. Make sure I don't move. I want to be right on 1.25, and then we'll line it up at 1 3/4, which is right there. And you may not be able to see, if you don't have one of these, there are little lines on each side of your cutting blade and your scoring blade. And you can line it right up. And in doing this card, I will tell you, if you don't get it just perfect straight on, absolutely use a pair of snips to finish it up. Okay, so we're at 1 3/4, and I'm going down to 8 3/4. Right there. It's as accurate as I can get it. We're going to totally rotate this. Again, we're going to go to 1 1/4 inches. And then I'm going from 1 3/4 down to 8 3/4. Right there. I think I might have gone just a little bit too far, but that's okay. Now we're going to rotate it to the 10.5 inch side. I'm going to get my arm out because we've got some scoring to do. And we're going to score between the cut lines. And as I line this up, it's going to be at about 1 3/4 inches here. And then I want my score blade. It's real easy to see where I've cut. So right at about 1 1/4 is where you're going to be. And you're just going to score down to the other cut line. There we go. And then we're going to rotate it. And we're going to go, it's going to be about 1 3/4. Again, 1 3/4 here. And then we're going to line up, and that's about 1 1/4 inches, and score down to the other cut line. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to score the entire width of it. We're going to go down to 3 1/2. We're going to do a score, and we're going to go down to 7 and do our last score. And you have just prepared your card base. This is going to be the backbone, the meat of your card, okay? I've debated on whether or not to go ahead and show you how to fold it now before we glue the pieces on, or go ahead and glue the pieces on and then show you how to fold it, but that's okay. On your left-hand side, this is going to be the front of your card, okay? And so we're simply going to fold that down. You're going to start going down, but where you go down on these little flaps right here, you're going to come up. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're going down and down, but we're coming up and up. Now we're going to reverse it for the other end, okay? We're going to come up on this one, and we're going to go down on these. So I'm just kind of pinching that down a little bit. I'll get my bone folder out here in just a minute, okay? And so now when you fold it, it's going to look like this, just like that. It's really not hard. And I would suggest that you make a template and have that for reference, because you're going to want to do more than one of these cards. You really are. Oop, got something on there. Well, at least it's on the back side. So there we go. And so when you look at it from the top view, that's what you're seeing. But isn't that adorable? It is adorable. I'm kind of tangled up. It is so cute. All right, and this piece here has to come up, and I overlooked that one. That was why it was fighting me a little bit. And so now we have, maybe I didn't fold that one right. Let's see, I need to go down and then come up. Yep, we're good, we're good. So we're going to put that to the side. And now I've got the card base. The first cardstock layer is what I'm calling it, at 5 1/4 and 10 1/4. And at the 5 1/4 inch up here, we're going to line it up at 1 inch instead of at 1 1/4. We're just going to go to 1 inch, and we're going to cut from 1 1/2 to 8 3/4. So 1 1/2 to 8 3/4. And I'm sorry if that 8 3/4 isn't quite in camera. I'm sorry. We're going to rotate it and do it again. Line up at 1 inch. Go back to 1 1/2 inches. And I think I'm pretty close on that. 1 1/2 inches down to 8 3/4. There we go. So now we have that. And we don't have to score this at all, okay? Now we're going to rotate it, and with the 10 1/4 inch across the top, we're going to cut out both sides. So if we go to about 1 1/2 inches, that should get us right where we need to be. And so I'm just going to line up my cutting blade with that cut mark, and I'm going to cut down to the other cut mark. We're going to rotate and do that one more time. So right about 1 inch, no, 1 1/2 inches. That'll line you up. 1 1/2 inches. And then I'm looking at my cut line. Go down to my other cut line. There we go. Let's see how well I did. So that one cut free. This one pretty much did. There's that one and that one. So this time at least I did not need my snips. Now don't throw this piece away. We got to have this. So now we're going to take this that we just cut out and we're going to go down to 3 1/4 and we're going to cut it. Make sure I'm right on 3 1/4. Hold that. And it's easier if you cut up toward your little backstop right there. So we have that piece, kind of looks like a C, right? We're going to go down again to 3 1/4. 3 1/4. Make sure they're sturdy. And we're going to use those 2 pieces. Now at this point, you're going to rotate this so it still looks like a C. And we're going to go to 3 1/4 again, 3 1/4 all the way through. And we're just going to cut off these little pieces here. And yes, they're scrap. So I'll lay those to the side for my next trip to the trash can. All right. Now we're going to take this cutout piece and we're going to cut at 3 1/4. No, we're going to cut it at 3 1/4 by 2 3/4. We want one of those. So 3 1/4 by 2 3/4. So there's one piece. And then we want 2 pieces at 2 3/4 by 1 1/2. So we're going to go to 2 3/4 by 1 1/2. Twice. So there's 1 1/2 and 1 1/2. So once all the cutting and scoring is done, all you have to do then is assemble and decorate how you see fit. That's all you got to do. You can use this with any stamp set. Sure can. All right, now with the DSP, with the 5 inches across the top, now we're going down to 3/4 of an inch, okay? You know, originally we started out at 1 1/4 and then went to 1 inch. Now we're at 3/4 of an inch, and we're going to cut from 1 1/4 to 8 1/2. Let me go 1 1/4 inches down to 8 1/2, okay? And again, we're going to rotate it and do the same thing. So we're going to cut 3/4 of an inch. Make sure everything's good and straight. And then we are going to cut from 1 1/4 to 8 1/2. And there we are there, okay? Now we're going to rotate this to the 10 inches across the top. We're going to line it up at 1 1/4 right there. And we're going to cut between the cut lines just like we did on the other piece. So, I think I'm kind of lined up there, and I'm going to go down to my cut line. And we're going to rotate it and do it one more time. We're going to line it up at 1 1/4. Make sure I'm down flat. 1 1/4. I'm just double checking myself here. And line this up. So if you've never tried one of these, I know it may look intimidating, and it was to me too, to be honest. It was kind of intimidating to me until I actually did one. And then I did the second one, then I did the third one, and I thought, this is not hard. There's just a little bit more going on here than what there normally is. And as you can tell on this one, I am having to take my snips and finish just a little bit. And it's okay if you do too. Doesn't mean you've done anything wrong. We're not perfect, are we? All right, once again, yes, we're going to use that middle piece. And we're going to take this with the 10 inch across the top, and we're going to go to 3 inches this time. Make sure I'm good and straight. There's my C. And go down to 3 inches again. Make sure I'm good and flat on both sides. I've got them held down. Got those. Gonna rotate this and go to 3 inches and cut that little bit off right there. So there we go. All right, guys. Now we're going to take this middle piece and we're going to cut it at 3 by 2.5 for the first piece, okay? You want one piece that's 3 inches by 2.5. Got that. And we want 2 pieces that are 2.5 by 1 1/4. So we're going to go 2.5. Let's see, how do I need to do this? I need my 2.5 here. And I need my 1 1/4 here. Now here's my 1 1/4. And 1 1/4. You can absolutely save these bigger pieces and use them on another project. Honestly, I went through all my scraps the other day, guys. I got rid of a bunch of them. And I did it because some of them I had for so long, I either no longer had that DSP or it was a retired cardstock or something. So anything that fell into that category, I chunked. I just chunked it. I thought, you know, there's no sense aggravating myself over this. All right. Let's go ahead and start getting some of our pieces put together here. Let me get them lined up to where they need to be. Not all of these will have DSP on them. Most of them will. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start these 2 big C's first. And when you lay them out, and it's not going to be perfy schmurfy, okay, it's not. But do you really notice that when you're looking at the card? You really don't. It's okay that it's not just perfect. That bothered me the first time I got ready to make a card. And I thought, well, no, let's just go ahead and power through. And I was glad I did because it was so cute when all was said and done. All right, I'm going to take this and we're going to try to get it on there kind of straight, kind of the same borders everywhere. All right, there's that one. I'm going to lay it over to the side and get this one. And so, guys, last Monday as I was driving to work, now we live really rural, we do. And we're used to having a lot of deer and stuff in the neighborhood and in the backyard. That's not anything new. However, on a road I don't normally have an issue with deers coming across the road. I did Monday morning. And guys, I got to give God all the glory. I'm telling you, had my car been any faster, had that deer gone any slower, my car would have been totaled last Monday morning. Absolutely. The way it all happened, it was so intensely close. And my heart was pounding, and the first thing I did was, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Oh, that was just, yes, that was something else. Then I get to work, and I'm still on cloud 9 because of his goodness and his protection and having mercy on me that morning. And I noticed, now, guys, for years and years and years, I have always hooked my keys onto my belt loop. Always. I do that for a reason. The very first year I worked at Walmart, and I was on night shift when I first started, and somebody called in a bomb threat. Well, when that happens, you can't go to your locker to get your purse. You can't stop to retrieve anything. You just have to go out the door. That made me so uncomfortable, not having my car keys or anything and having to go outside, not knowing what was going to happen. Is it for real? Is it not? You know, that kind of thing. And so for years now, I have been in the habit of keeping my keys on my belt loop. Now, I noticed after I had been on the clock, I was on the job, maybe 15, 20 minutes. I didn't have my keys. Oh, poop. So I checked my coat pockets. No, they weren't in there. And I'm going, uh-oh. So I told my coworker, I said, look, I got to go run to my car real quick and look and see if my, oh, you know what? I didn't cut them 2 little pieces right. Look there. No, I did do. Okay, yes, we want them going up and down. Okay, never mind. Back to the story. I go running down to my car, and there are my beautiful set of keys laying right in the middle of the car seat. So I thought I had them looped on. I didn't. So the next thing I did, my hand flew to my right front pocket, where I keep a key that will unlock my door. Now, it won't start the car or anything. It's just an extra key in case I lock myself out. Where was that extra key? Well, it was in my change purse in the car. I had not put it in my pocket. Oh, poop. So, yours truly ended up calling a locksmith. Totally on me. But do you know the overriding feeling was still gratitude? I could have had a total car. I could have got messed up because that was a big deer, y'all. It was big. So, anyway. One of the first things I'm going to do, because I'm not sure how I did it, is I'm going to take and glue. Where is my, here we go. I'm going to glue this piece in the middle because there's not supposed to be a crease line right there. And how I folded that in a crease when there was no score line there. Because if you'll remember, we scored this at, what was it, 3.5 and 7? Let me go back on my cheat sheets and look. Yeah, we scored it 3.5 and 7. So why I did that? Guys, I don't know. Why does my brain do some of the things it does? Oh, my goodness. Goodness. And, just FYI, just so you know, most of the pieces that we need to decorate this card with today have already been die cut. However, I did leave 2, as I said, for a reason. And I'll explain that as we get to that. But yeah, it was just, it was a very eventful Monday. I didn't care. I was still praising God all day long. I just thought that was huge, guys. That was huge. Not to have hit that deer. And it wasn't because I was all that or I was being extra cautious. I actually was not particularly being extra cautious. Now, on my road that I live on, I have to go about a mile before it hooks up with another back road that I take. And it was that other back road, one of the other back roads, that I had gotten on. And that's where the deer was, where I don't normally have an issue with deer. Oh, my heavens. All right. So it won't take but just a few minutes to get all of this put together. So how many of you guys watch that show, Yellowstone? I have never watched it. And I'm not sure if I can find it on our TV lineup or if Hulu might have it. I dropped Netflix sometime back. I just got a little exasperated for what I was paying, and I didn't feel like they were living up to what they needed to be providing for what I was paying, and I dropped it several months ago. But I did pick up Hulu, so I'm going to see if that's on there. I really think I would like that show. I just think I would. I think I would love it. Gosh, I remember when Walking Dead first came out. I loved it. Loved it. Loved it. And then about 2 or 3 seasons, 4 seasons, 5 seasons ago, not too long after Rick disappeared, we just quit watching it. At that point, we were so fed up with frustration, we just quit. So, anyway. But I remember back in the day how much we looked forward to each new episode every week. And, you know, sometimes it's just really nice to have something that you look forward to watching every week. Now, I will tell you something that we have watched for a few years now. Don't know how many more seasons there's going to be of this. But those of you that have watched The Curse of Oak Island, you know where I'm coming from. That has been an amazing, amazing show. Love that show. And the new season is now currently coming on every Tuesday night. Okay, guys, so here we go. We've got our basis, all right? I really like this. You may not care for this pattern. That's okay. You do you when you get ready to do this card. All right. Now, this is my little tray, little magnetic tray, since I have a couple of pieces. Out of that DSP, you can cut, there are 2 sheets that have different animals that the dies will fit. Isn't that awesome? So we're going to cut those out. And then I've just got some other odds and ends. I have got, out of soft suede, I did the little tree stump. Out of balmy blue, I stamped the little puddles in balmy blue and die cut them. I got the clouds also stamped in balmy blue and die cut on balmy blue. And I've got a kite, but I'm not sure if we're going to use that or not. I took, because this little fella right here has got some of that Mango Melody color in his shirt. So I did Mango Melody little bows for the kite string. And then I did Flirty Flamingo because that's also one of the colors. Let me get this down here. Also one of the colors in that DSP. There's not a whole lot of colors used in this, honestly. Basic Black, Balmy Blue, Cajun Craze, Flirty Flamingo, Mango Melody, and Old Olive. So a very simple palette, but a beautiful palette. So we're just going to see how all this comes together and whether or not I even use that kite. But this is that die cut. And, you know, when I first saw it, I thought, what is that for? But that's what that's for. And see how that's got a little bit of a curve right there? It lines right up with that curve. That lines right up with, well, I'll call it the top of the kite. Right there. There we go. All right, but let's get these die cut. And, yes, I am going to use the mini cut and emboss machine. I believe it was when I did the video casing the caddy for Around the Bend. I believe it was that video. I had a wonderful viewer let me know that Angela McKay, a demonstrator out of Canada, had showcased this in one of her videos, and I do watch her sometimes. I couldn't find it, but thank you, Carla, for letting me know that when you are doing simple die cutting, an easy way to get these plates to go through, are you ready for this? use that dark gray 3D embossing folder for your top plate. Not a second cutting plate as we normally do, but use this one instead. It's just a wee bit thinner than the cutting plate, and it will just glide right through. It will not fight you. The minute I read that, I got all excited. Now my die has slipped. Hold on. I got to line this little fella back up before we can die cut him. I probably should have used, as big as this is, maybe 2 pieces of tape, and I didn't. Let's see if we can get away with it for the actual die cutting. And I'm just looking at all my edges and looking at his tail and the umbrella. I want to make sure I don't cut off that little metal part that sticks up on top of the umbrella. See if I can't get that laid down. And I want to show you guys now, it just goes through so easy. You don't have to stagger your plates. And so, Carla, thank you so much for that. Thank you. And one time through, boom. I have not had it fail to cut. Now, intricate die cuts are going to be a different story. I haven't tried that yet. As soon as I do try it, I'll come back and let you know how that did or did not work for intricate die cuts. But there he is. Isn't he cute? And his little raincoat and his little hat's got that wet look to it. I don't know if you can pick up on that a little bit or not. So we got that one. Let me retrieve my tape here. And this die goes back in that tray. Yep. Here we go. Once again, I probably should have used a bigger piece or 2 small pieces. And we're just going to line him back up. Want to make sure his ears are good. His little hands, his little feet. Just kind of tape that down. Let's get that laid on here. And something else that I realized really helped. Don't put your die cuts way up at where it's going to first start going through the machine. Back them up a little bit. That helps too. But I have not had an issue with this at all. Whoops. Doing it wrong. Hold on. Not holding my mouth right. I'm talking too much, I guess. Oh, my heavens. So here we go. Got him there about in the middle. That there. And it just, look, I'm not having to force it. It's that easy to take it through. I am having to hold on to keep the little machine from wiggling. And I do have that Boho Blue mini machine coming. I should have it this Saturday. According to what the tracking info gave me earlier today. And as soon as I get my hot little hands on it, I'll be sure to show it to you. Oh, and look. His little shirt's got that wet look too. Isn't that neat? It's neat. In real person, it makes a lot more of an impact than it does on video. But anyway. All right, now this is bugging me. Yes, I laid them down in that magnetic tray. No, I really, really want them back in my case. Absolutely. So, I've been moving my pieces around a lot. So, maybe I can get this back in here how I had it. Maybe. And he was right up there. Let's make sure my kite is in full contact. There we go. Oops. Oh, my bridge. I need my bridge. Gotta get that back in there. Na. It's a tight fit, but you can absolutely get all of these in the other side of your stamp case. You can. I'm going to move that for a minute. How do I want to lay him in there? I'll put him like so. Move him down. There's my tree stump. And there's my little bows. There we go. Now we're all in there. Nice and neat. All right. I'm happy now. Okay. All right. Got our 2 little critters. Now, one thing that I was going to do, and I did not do, and you might want to do, If you're using like the same thing, you've got a pattern on the back. If you want to, absolutely die cut a shape out of white cardstock and glue it to the back. I didn't feel like it was an issue. So let me bring this card back in. So as you can see, he's not entirely glued down. He's got a little bit of his ear and a little bit of his foot sticking out there. And if you hold it just right, you can see that pattern on the back. Now, do I feel like they're going to do that, your recipient? Probably not. However, if they're another card maker, they might. See where a little bit of that umbrella and a little bit of his nose area is kind of sticking out. So just bear that in mind. If you want to cut another layer, you can even cut it out of typing paper if you wanted to really be frugal, and just kind of help cover up the pattern that's on the back. Honestly, this time it did not bother me. It really didn't. All right, we are through with the mini-me. So we're just going to put him away and get ready to decorate. And here we go. There we go. And we've also got just a little bit of stamping to do. Now, what I don't know is, do I want him over here like I did on that card, or do I want him over here? And here's something else you can do. Why don't we just totally change this up? How about if we don't put anything here and we put him in here? I don't like that as well because he's so big. However, if you'll notice on the card with the gnomes, instead of putting anything on the outer edges, I did put everything in the middle. And so they don't really see a whole lot until they open it up. And then they get the full effect, okay? So you do you, again. And I really think I am going to stay with the way I laid it out for the other one, just because I don't want to have you here all day. All right, so here's my little tree stump out of soft suede. And I made sure that that 1 foot had total contact with the tree stump, as though he's dancing for joy or fixing to jump off, or he just jumped on. However you want to see it. So the only place I need glue is right there on his little foot. So I'm just going to put a little squiggle of glue and kind of get him. And this is textured too. I don't know how well you can see that on video, but you actually have your wood grains and everything in your tree trunk. Everything is embossed when it die cuts it. And so now we're going to just lay that right there. Give that just a second to kind of take hold. And I did want to take one of those balmy blue puddles and put that across the bottom here, kind of in the middle. And I chose on the tree stump part to kind of have the puddle in front instead of trying to tuck it back behind, because by the time you have enough to glue on there, you're barely seeing anything. And so I just felt like it worked better to go ahead and put it in the front. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right there where it rises up at the tallest part of the puddle. And we'll just stick that on there. You're going to end up with glue pretty much all over on the back side, so don't worry about only having a little bit of glue there. And let's make sure my puddle is proportioned correctly. There we go. And then we're going to bring him kind of in the middle of here and here in this corner. That'll work. Now, in looking at this, now his ear is going to hang off, his foot, his hand, and a little bit of his face. So I need to be mindful to put glue over on this side only. And you can always go back. If you don't get quite enough glue, you can always go back and put more. And I'm going to put a little Dot right there, little dot right there, little dot right there. And that's going to be plenty to hold him on there. I'm going to lay him down. Let me straighten up my tree stump. All right. There we go. Are we good on the glue? So we're not gluing it down to the card base. And we're good. And we're going to take this little fella. We're going to line him up. And I want a little puddle on him too. Let me get another puddle. I cut out some clouds. I don't know. So just on the tips of his little feet. Just on the tips. Whoops. Not too much. There we go. So on his little feet. And he's literally dancing in the rain with his umbrella. Okay. Got it. Got it. Now, when I lay him down, he's going to be a little further down. And so the half of the umbrella and his nose is going to hang off. So, I want glue over here. And it doesn't take a whole lot. Okay. We're going to lay him right about there. All right. Good. Awesome. Do I have any glue on my fingers? Maybe not. Well, that's a miracle. See there, guys? See how God is so good? For me to mess with Tombo and not get sticky fingers, hey, yeah, it's a good day. All right, there we go. Now, I'm going to have to move him ever so quickly. That is not going to work. Oh, Tombo, I know you're good and strong. Don't be good and strong today. Is that going to... Oh, my heavens. Oh, no. You know what, guys? I'm going to end up re-die cutting him. Oh, no. Yep, I am. And if I re-die cut him, oh, heavens. All right, guys, we just won't fold him up all the way when all is said and done. Okay, we'll just leave this one. How did I do the other one? So I put him way back, and I put him way down, so he didn't have near as much. Am I folding it wrong? Oh, I'm folding it wrong. I am folding it wrong. This part comes in, this part comes back. Oh, we're good. We're good. See, I panicked for nothing. Oh, heavens. You know, it's really sad when you're so used to making mistakes that you can do it right and still think you're wrong. Oh, my word. All right, onward and upward. So, I have cut a piece of basic white that is, if I remember right, 2 3/4 by 2 1/4. Yes, 2 3/4 by 2 1/4. And this is what we're going to stamp our sentiment on. Now, I told you I had used Balmy Blue for the little puddles and things and the clouds. But I'm going to bring in the Old Olive, and I'm going to bring in the Old Olive because, number one, it's a nice dark ink for the sentiment, but also there was the Old Olive in his shirt, and I thought, well, that'll tie in just fine. And so I'm going to start with my Oh Happy Day, and I'm going to bring this down toward me just a little bit and hope I stamp this straight, even though I don't have grid paper down. Is that straight? It's good. And then under that, I am going to put the other sentiment, Rainy Days Are Better With You. And this is going to be my version of a thank you card. And why is this possibly a thank you card? Well, we all have people in our lives that are there for us, right? They have our backs. They truly care and are concerned when we are going through hard times. And it may be a simple conversation that you had. It may have been that you shared prayer time together. Maybe they just sent you a little note of encouragement. But somehow, some way, they are good at letting you know that they are always there for you. Thank you for being there for me. That's what I'm seeing with these sentiments. I don't know what you're seeing with these sentiments, but it's what I'm seeing. All right. It's just a little bit different in how it does it, right? And absolutely, if you need a thank you card, if you need a birthday card, you saw my other examples. And I've still got to get them photographed and get them uploaded to my website, and I will be doing that today. All right, and this just goes right there in the middle. Oh, there was one thing I meant to do first. That's okay. That's all right. We'll still go ahead and do it. So, in that stamp set, where'd it go? Here it is. There are raindrops, okay? And it looks like this. And you absolutely can turn it any way you want to turn it. You can have, either way you go, you have one raindrop at the top, but either way. So, I'm going to take off my Oh Happy Day and reuse this block because I didn't have time to pre-wash my blocks, guys. I'm sorry. And got a piece of scratch paper here I was using on the other card because I was stamping off on that balmy blue to do the raindrops on the greeting. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I think I want third generation. So we're going to go 1, 2, and then we're going to go 1. Oh, I didn't get all the way down there. Can I line that up again? Probably not. That's all right. It's okay. There we go. And that still didn't. Well, all right. Well, it didn't. That's all right. Let's just go with it anyway. All right. Now, on the back, you absolutely have room to write, and you absolutely have room to put yet another piece of cardstock right there if you want that on there, and write your sentiment, because I was not going to write anything on the front, and so my poor little fox is a little wrinkled where I tried to peel that up. He's just a little worn, just a little. All right, guys. So I hope you have enjoyed this card. Please, please let me know in the comments below whether you think you will try this or not. And again, I'm going to bring back the gnome card, and I'm going to bring back the happy birthday card that I did with the True Beauty stamp set. And tell me what you think of this. But anyway, you guys have a very, very blessed weekend. I still have some other projects on the back burner, and we'll get there one day at a time, right, guys? God is good all the time. Be blessed and know that you are loved. Bye.